Movies, TV shows, and impending starvation.
Certain death.
Senselessly waste the gift of life with these bozo cucks. Check for traps in Lockdown.
Hello and welcome to Check for Traps. Today we're reviewing Christian snuff film Left Behind. I'm Aaron.
I'm Alec.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Ruben.
Excellent. Yeah, we just finished watching 2014 Nicolas Cage classic Left Behind, film you probably haven't heard of, as it contained very little cultural value. Based on a 16-book evangelical Christian novel series written by some absolute nutjobs. Had an earlier film series involving Kirk the Cuck Cameron, and there was a lengthy legal battle over the rights that resulted in this masterpiece, which has been abandoned on Netflix for at least the last 5 years, and will presumably remain on there long after we're all dead.
Do you know how to PC game as well?
Sure,
Eternal Forces. It's a real-time strategy game.
Eternal Forces, yeah.
What is it like? What is it like? Command and Conquer, but
Yeah, it's like Age of Empires, but except the only age you can be in is the eternal age of damnation.
well, that's interesting that it is that, because I know later on the plot of Left Behind, obviously it starts off quite small with like the plane, but it eventually becomes like, I think they refound the Kingdom of Jerusalem, war against the infidels that have been left behind in the Middle East.
I've always thought of it as more like XCOM, but you're shooting non-believers rather than aliens.
Wow. So a film where we see the rapture actually happen, or kind of see it. I mean, people just sort of disappear and their clothes are left there. I did want to pitch to you guys, what would you do if bundles of clothes and people were missing? Would you assume the rapture?
I'd assume that you or one of you was fucking with me.
I think I would go probably to some kind of military super weapon first.
Oh, you know what else actually? I definitely think that second option, that War of the Worlds, the 2005 Spielberg version, was happening, because when they get zapped in that, their clothes fly into the air and they turn into dust.
They go poof. I'd assume Elon Musk did something stupid.
Nice.
Yeah, the
I'm
Large
going to
Hadron
turn on my
Colliders.
Tesla coils. Oh no, I've killed everybody.
Oh
Better,
no, the Tesla
success.
coil fell into CERN.
better blame a union.
The union I didn't let happen.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think of this film? Did you have a jolly old time?
No.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Sucks.
the main thing I remember about this, I just remember it being a really, like, strangely paced film. Josh compared it, said, like, it sort of had, like, the same energy and plot pace as Soul Plane, or, like, Aeroplane, and I kind of agree. Like, is there something about the Aeroplane films that devoids them of all structure? This one doesn't really have acts. It's really strange. Like, when did we work out the rapture happened? Like, the 33 minutes in?
33 minutes in, exactly, yeah. What I found weird about it was, like, considering how batshit Revelation already is, and then how additionally batshit this novel series is, from what little I know about it, and how much fun it has with kind of how you can stretch and interpret Revelation, this is literally just quite a boring movie that has, as you said, the same structure as Soul Plane, Airplane, or Snakes on a Plane. And how you can make the rapture as banal as this. Impressive. Good job, everyone.
Apart from the rapture, only about 3 other things happen. And it's nearly 2 hours long, which is too long.
Yeah. Imagine watching Snakes on a Plane, but without the snakes.
Yeah, the
There's
snakes
no
aren't
snakes
in it.
on crack. There's just a plane, and there's suddenly less people on it.
Because there's because like the first half an hour, nothing really happens, and then the rapture happens, and then nothing really happens again. And then there's a little plane whoopsie, and then nothing happens again until the plane lands. And it was just like and they pad it for time by just having people just do nonsense.
Well, I tell you
Just
what.
sort of run around screaming for a bit to pretend that there's drama and tension, and they throw as many low-budget car crash and other prop effects as they can at that poor woman who had to run around with GoPros tied to her constantly.
Yeah, someone pulls a gun just to break up the monotony of plane conversations. I think it's a really fascinating film. I think you can tell it's a film that had sequels planned, but this is actually supposed to be one of 3. It's supposed to adapt the first 3 books, and that hadn't really ever come to pass, but I think they're still trying. I think the guy is still trying to get the second one made currently, with like Chad Michael Murray, etc.
Godspeed to that guy.
Chad Michael Murray is never going to debase himself at this level for a second time.
Well, I suppose if someone proposes to you, oh, it's a Christian thriller film with Nicolas Cage in it, you think, yeah, Middle America will eat this shit up, and there's loads of them.
Yeah, especially if they're like willing to sign you on for a trilogy. It's like, shit, these guys got a plan. I'm gonna be really rich.
Do I have to do any acting in it? Not really.
Barely. It's like you're on a plane. It won't even be that uncomfortable.
Yeah, you'll spend most of it sitting in quite a big chair.
Yeah. It's like, oh, am I going to be first class? Yeah, fucking sweet.
Your big scenes are the being the only person on the plane who has a camera, inexplicably in the modern age, and having a mobile phone.
I did think that. I was like, shit, Alec would be a big damn hero in this scene. He'd get like his really fancy camera. Be like,
Nah,
I
"Fine."
want you to take a picture, Alec.
For transatlantic flights, I put it in the hold. He says
no.
like he's done it more than once.
In that case, there'd be a scene where we're like, lowering you into the hold mid-flight.
Can you get into the hold? You can get into the hold from the cabin, but it's like through a hole in the floor, isn't it? Like on Air Force One when he pops up out of it.
They do it in Snakes on a Plane as well.
Oh
They don't do it in Soul
Let's go to
Plane.
the toilet. I was thinking for a transatlantic flight, it was very small.
I was thinking that. Well,
First
we only ever
class-
saw two sets of people. We saw first class and a single shot of people.
The proles.
There was. Yeah, I did think it was really funny how the characters we're following are our noble first class dwellers.
Well, because there's fewer of them, I guess. There's only about 8 people in first class. There's
Midget.
druggy lady, angry small man,
There's
US Marshal, Texan man, Muslim man. That's actually what the subtitles refer to him as.
Amazing. I can't believe he didn't get a name. That's ridiculous.
Was there a creepy guy as well who gave the lady an eyes up and down as she came in, or was that Muslim man?
That was Muslim man.
It's not very Muslim of him.
That they decided to establish for no purpose that he was a bit perverted.
He was a lech.
And then the old couple, Cameron, not Cameron, that's Kirk Cameron, getting it mixed up with the original, Chad Michael Mully.
Chad
You know who I mean?
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the scene where people have been magically teleported off a plane and everyone's response is, let's go and kill the captain.
Yeah, what the hell? Like, storm the cockpit. And Chad Michael
Beating
Murray's
on the
got
door.
to convince them otherwise. And then he diffuses the situation by putting the oxygen in.
He suffocates them.
Yeah, Yeah, that was mad.
Because he gets, because he flicks some switches and all the oxygen masks drop out. And I was like, oh, that's clever. He's triggered the oxygen masks to like freak them out to thinking there's an emergency. And then they all start suffocating. It's like, can the pilot do that? Can they just
purge it?
suffocate
Yeah,
everyone at
we
will?
were saying this, like, I'm pretty sure that, one, you wouldn't need the oxygen unless there was the cabin had depressurized and there was, like, not enough new air coming in, right? So, like, it would be hard
Yeah,
to
but
breathe.
we're saying that
They're
he
just
might have.
on a plane.
We're saying that he might have done that.
Yeah, he says,
He's got a button to just empty the cockpit.
yeah, he
empty
says,
the
I
whole
depressurized the cabin.
fuselage.
Oh, I thought he said the cabin's been depressurized. I thought he was giving exposition.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's saying that he's done it. Jesus, he's a fucking
Yeah, he did
maniac.
it.
Yeah, see, I just thought that they gave up quite easily, but no, it turns out that he was just completely
kill
ready
them.
to fuck with them.
Attention passengers, sit down or I will kill you all.
I have a gun and I have your oxygen supply. I'm in a very strong position.
I must admit, like, a lot of there are terrible, like, to be honest, the Rapture thing didn't have that much of an effect on the plane plot, weirdly.
No, yeah, indeed. Well,
It was just-
the main effect on it is Nicolas Cage's dumbass decision to divert. Causes all the problems. I think the woman came up with, weirdly enough, the most realistic plan just because of how batshit it was. Like, where she's like, the plane landed, you took my NFL boyfriend or husband took the child, and then we're all flying again.
That's like the flat earther Finland isn't real conspiracy theory, though.
But that's what I mean, but it's so intricate that it at least has like a chain of events.
Points for imagination.
Like, the
because it
Chinese
would
guy's
require
just
some-
like, probably in a wormhole.
Yeah, one guy's like, we flew through a wormhole, we came to another dimension where those people never existed. It's like, that doesn't even make sense from a Doctor Who perspective.
Yeah,
Like, that is
we
bullshit.
can't. Well, Christians
Sci-fi.
can't write sci-fi. I think is what we learned from that character.
No.
Did you guys think it was interesting? The revelation that what was going on was, like, the biblical rapture didn't actually leave the cockpit on the plane. You know, like, Nicolas Cage looks through some dead people's, like, diaries and saw that they had Bible study.
Oh, yeah.
Extrapolates
Just in
from
My
case.
this.
heart, God.
Yeah, you're right. The plot. He never. I guess to be fair, he probably doesn't want to have that conversation. I wouldn't. I'd be like, fuck that. That's tomorrow's problem.
God,
Did
actually
they
looking through
even
the
say
diaries,
word
his
rapture
Bible
in the whole
study.
film? Did they ever say rapture?
No, they nor do they say we've been left behind.
I'm
Josh,
going to produce a counter film called Finally Alone or something like that, where
Is it about
everyone else
where-
gets beamed up to heaven, and because of the massive depopulation, humanity thrives and there's a massive economic boom, and we invent technology like never before.
Love it.
I thought you were going to do one called Finally Alone where the rapture happens and you don't notice. Like, because you just sort of keep walking
I'm
around.
still in my flat for the 6th week. I go out with vegetables, and there's the same people that are always there, -1, I guess.
Yeah, you're like, oh, where's Jeff? It's like, I haven't seen him. Oh, fair enough.
well, he's been raptured, Mr. Fuchs. What do you mean?
What's a rapture?
What are you
He went
talking
He went to
about?
Bioshock. That was lovely.
Like
Josh,
to-
I have a biblical question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So when you get raptured, you entirely get transporter Star Trek beamed away up, right? So your body goes to heaven. Are you better or worse than the people that have died normally and just their spirit goes to heaven?
Interesting question. The answer is not as good as you'd probably like it to be. This whole kind of version of the rapture that's in this movie is bullshit. It's called dispensationalism, and it's like it's an invention of like the evangelical Christian right. So they want to prep for like an end times after the original rapturing. So when the seals of the Book of Life start getting opened by the Lamb of God in the beginning of Revelation, loads of crazy shit goes down. First 4 seals get opened. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse ride out and start doing vague things. But again, you're not sure if that's having a direct effect on Earth straight away. And then the next few seals get open. And when the second to last seal is open, 12,000 people from each of the 12 tribes of Israel are then taken straight up into heaven, which is not this. And then John looks around and sees a great multitude, which isn't of any specific number, like it's too many to see. And he asks the angel, who are those people? He says, those are the people who went through the Great Tribulation. And then the final seal is opened, and then there's 7 horns, and then 7 bowls, and then loads of more insane shit, and then more insane shit. Then New Jerusalem flies out of the sky after a giant apocalyptic battle, of which there are 2, and then evil is vanquished. So, in very, very long answer to your question, and I've needed to get that out for a long time, this is bullshit.
So
Why
you
wasn't
don't.
that in the film? That sounds way better. I want to see all of what you just
You want to
said.
see Nicolas Cage gathering the 7 horns. We need to get
I
these
want to
horns.
see the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse coming out and doing
Yeah,
great
yeah.
things.
2 epic battles.
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage
right.
piloting the plane, Chad Michael Murray on a bolted-on minigun. Like,
Isn't like there's some sort of plane somewhere in Israel where everyone's meant to meet and fuck each other up, which probably made more sense in ancient times. But now you think that's not big enough. Wouldn't fit us all in.
Excellent point that you've made, Alec. Allow me to elaborate on that. So, in Revelation, John sends out 7 warning letters to the 7 churches of Asia, saying that the end times are near.
There's way more than 7 now.
Yeah, yeah.
well,
Exactly.
not only that, those
Churches
7
are all now-
are very
There's
Muslim
at
now.
least 8 at this point.
they're
John
all
sends
really
out the email blast to the churches of Asia,
He tweets.
summoning them to do the ice bucket challenge for Jesus.
And Jesus says after he's died, but before he ascends, some of you will not taste death before the last day comes. And then, like with those 7 letters, the end times in Revelation is full of allusions to shit that's not happening anymore. And the most accurate, like, theological approach to, it's called eschatology, the study of the end times, is called praeterism. And praeterism says that the final battle in Jerusalem that happens before the New Jerusalem arrives already happened in 70 AD when the Romans, who were actually the bad guys in the Bible, attacked Jerusalem. So you are correct. It's definitely not going to happen now.
Oh. I'm trying to say that some of you will not taste death before the last day is so fucking metal. That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
really
it's
is.
some sick words. But yeah, the thing about the Churches of Asia, I always find this really funny when they're like, oh, you can go visit the place that Saint Nick was born in Turkey. You can go, Saint Andrew, Turkey. Everything's in fucking Turkey. And it's really funny how what was the center of Christendom is now the center of Islam.
I feel like, bringing it back to the film discussed the theological debate very poorly. It didn't really
I mean, it
mention
barely
anything.
discussed it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean,
Barely a side plot in the plane crash film we really just watched.
to be fair to it, there is no longer a debate. God is real. He has just raptured people.
Well, that's
you
what-
can
that's
no
what we
longer
were
debate
saying.
it. It's like, well, this just
Yes,
happened.
It feels like at the beginning where Chad Michael Murray and the woman are like slam talking that Christian down with like fact, like they're being portrayed as idiots because we all know this is a film where God is real.
Yeah, but like, sure. I mean, when she comes up to him and goes, "Oh, all this means that the world is ending," obviously, and he's like, "Oh yeah, whatever, crazy woman." Surely, even amongst some of the more evangelical Christians, then like maybe you shouldn't accost random people in the airport and just tell them that they're all going to die.
They're quite
Dunno.
annoying, mate.
I was about to say, do we go to Josh as to whether that actually happens?
I've met and been around American evangelicals when I was younger because I was from an evangelical church, and they do not know how to, let's say, play with other people. I mean, the fact that most of the people in the world, or like in the West, don't believe what they believe is just a constant surprise and affront to their sensibilities.
Yeah, so I wanted to focus on like the people who like wrote and produced this because they seem pretty mad and incompetent. Obviously, it's like written by it's written so like the guy is called Paul Lalonde, and he is a man who claims to specialize in end times films and says that he works in like the end times film industry, right? But his only credit on Wikipedia is Left Behind. And so I guess that was like presumably the plan that hasn't quite worked out. So Paul Lalonde is the guy who had the idea to make 3 of them, and he's the one who's signing up everyone. I just saw while we were talking, I've just seen that Chad Michael Murray, as late as May last year, he was still in talks with people, that Paul Lalonde was still writing the script, and that it was still planning to go ahead, probably without Nicolas Cage. As of last year, pre-Rona, this film wasn't dead in the water, or this sequel wasn't dead in the water. Not only that, but Paul Lalonde, after this film didn't do very well, gave money to a different group of people. He's got a company called Cloud 10 to make a Twilight-inspired spin-off of Left Behind called Left Behind Vanished, the Next Generation.
Oh, but no vampires.
No vampires. No, I said
I was almost interested.
I mean, like, burrowing into the DNA of what made Twilight successful, is in, like, sort of, like, teens not fucking, but really wanting to fuck.
Left Behind 2 - The Disappeared, they're not coming back, or whatever it was called.
It'd be like if you made a movie that was like Star Trek / Star Wars equals the children of the characters you are familiar with. The rhyme or reason for who got raptured and who didn't was a constant source of amusement, such as all but one air traffic controller in America, they all got raptured, so they're clearly really good gents.
So many
what are
good
those air traffic controllers doing so right?
They were all part of the Christians Air Traffic Union.
Well, because they're up in those big towers, they're closer to God.
Oh, that's
so they're
it.
more holy.
Of course. How did we miss that?
Alec, what would be your explanation for why basically all the doctors and nurses had not been raptured?
Abortion.
That's incredible. We were saying it was an incredibly busy hospital, but of course it was.
There you go.
Jeez, oh god, imagine the amount of like bureaucratic paperwork pre-rapture, man. You gotta check everyone. I guess actually he can write off like large portions of the population. Like he's like,
I think if you're the big man himself, I suppose it's quite difficult to delegate stuff because you delegate it to your main man Gabriel, and he's like, yeah, but wouldn't it be quicker if you did it because you're, all powerful? And you're just sort of like, do you know what? You're right, actually. Don't worry about Gabriel, I got this.
I don't know, having read the Old Testament, he goes, that's not the arrangement, Gabriel. Do you want to go down to the bad place?
I am a punitive and ridiculous, absurd god.
Also, Gabriel's like a cube with like sashes rotating around it. God, I don't even have hands.
God, I'm a giant flaming boat with eyes.
Yes, I know, I made you. And I'm very proud.
And you look sick.
I can't use this quill you've given me.
He's like, Michael, have you done all the research on China? It's like, yeah, sure. Not a single Christian among them, just as I thought.
Gabriel, why can't you be more like Michael? His work was done as soon as I assigned it to him.
He's a giant flaming wheel. You can just get around easier.
Just hit Michael doing like sick 180s.
How many Christians there are in the sea? Not many.
Bringing it back to this film we watched.
We're talking. Hey, how dare you? We are talking about the film. I will wrestle you to the mat. That was about the film.
Okay.
You're not getting
If you say so. It's so hard to talk about because it's so shit.
Well, I mean, so let's go over the plot. Let's dissect why we can't talk about it. It's because the film has airport scene where they discover he's having an affair, debate with crazy Christian woman, vague flirting from Chad Michael Murray and woman, really boring plane interspersed with, like Alex said, woman running around with a GoPro.
But he's not having an affair. He plans to have an affair at a U2 concert in London. Also, let's say that the U2 weren't touring in 2014, so...
Joke's on you.
Well, Ruben's
wrong.
Ruben's got some like headcanon that it's pre 9/11 because like people walk into the cockpit and
wandering
that woman
in and out of the cockpit.
That woman got
a gun on board.
Yeah, I was about to say the woman got a gun on board.
In addition to the gun and the walking into the cockpit, the drug-addled woman got a large bag of cocaine past security. So I guess all of those were raptured before the rapture happened.
Yeah.
Mate, it wouldn't be that difficult. You've flown from Bristol Airport. You take fucking kitchen knives through there and they wouldn't notice. They're idiots.
To be fair, she does a good job of hiding that cocaine. She wraps it up in the her lipstick, doesn't she? Which is quite clever. However, a handgun cannot be wrapped inside a lipstick tube. It would be much harder to get through airport security. So God knows
Ruben
how
can
that
tell you
happened.
for sure because he's tried on many occasions.
I'm always trying to get my claymore through airport security, and I can.
Like the mine or the sword?
The sword.
Yeah, they let you
Both.
through the mine. They let you go through the clacker
my mine
or
fits
the
in my
mine.
hand luggage. My claymore doesn't. So.
Yeah, of course.
That shopping centre scene was extra crazy, wasn't it? As well.
Yeah, because it's like as soon as some kids disappear, whoomph, riot time.
Yeah,
like they
mass
all go
looting.
mental.
And it's not even believable looting. There's just like some people gently arguing over like a empty TV box.
Yeah.
There was one dude who was about 6'3", massive beard, carrying out 5 of an identical blue dress. What is he doing? That's rubbish looting.
Yeah,
Even
right,
worse than that kid at the Tottenham riots that stole a massive bag of rice.
Yeah, well, we were saying, Josh said actually, that the collapse of society portrayed in Left Behind is incredibly tame.
Because when she's running home through the scenes of, a Christian woe, she walks past an office, and the office is marked blah blah attorneys. A guy gets shotgunned and flies out the window. He's got like war paint on, so he's like at
Really?
home.
He's ready for it.
Yeah, also, it
And
only
he's
happened
ready
like 10
for it.
minutes ago, so he was fucking ready.
Yeah, but then he's been shot out of the attorney's office with loads of jewels. Does that what they think attorneys do? Do you think they just
Yeah,
hoard
that's a good
jewellery?
point.
Who walks in dressed like a war boy?
Yeah,
It's me, attorney, and scoops up all the fucking miscellaneous jewellery.
Maybe it was the guy with the shotgun that was the thief, and the guy with the war paint on was the attorney.
He was a punk
He was
attorney.
defending the shot.
Yeah, he was holding his gold like, please don't take my gold. And the guy with the shotgun's like, I'm gonna take your gold, boy.
I haven't changed the signs on
My
this.
gold now.
I haven't changed the signs on this former attorney's office.
This is now a shaman's meeting place.
This is where we store our gold, our tribe's gold.
I did some theological arithmetic, by the way. I'm
Sick.
giving the movie an F because they didn't have the courage to show children not being raptured because they're cowards. There was the school bus that was just full of clothes, which was quite entertaining.
Oh, the short bus.
It would have been quite funny if it was just the bully kids who were left and their mangled corpses were being thrown around the inside of a school bus.
Should have been Reuben, and I'll tell you why. Because thou shalt beat them with the rod and deliver them from hell, right? That's Proverbs talking about children. If you're not baptized and you're being a bastard, which all children are, you can go to hell if you haven't repented.
It was the short bus, so they're all like they're all challenged, so they're probably more innocent because of it. And the bus driver goes as well. The short bus goes a whole sky, and he somehow hits another plane. That's bad piloting. Just putting that out there.
Well, we were saying that this is another reason why this entire plot is Rayford Steele's fault, because like if he just stuck, the reason he hits that plane is because that plane was on a predetermined flight pattern, and he took his plane off of that flight pattern and then crashed it into
If
that
he'd
other
just done
plane.
nothing, they'd probably be fine.
Yeah, everything would have been fine if they'd just gone to London.
Just like,
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of weird things like that. The writing was just generally pretty shit. The cinematography was, I guess, fine.
What about the
but
cinematography when the plane came to land? I thought that
Yeah,
was,
the special effects were fucking dire. They did, however, to their credit, they got a Cessna and a bus and blew them the hell up. That was pretty cool.
but like the little shit, the smallest shittiest plane and the smallest shittiest bus.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You can probably get a Cessna pretty cheap, right? They can't be.
A fucked one, you just launch off a catapult in a car park.
A broken Cessna can't really be that expensive in terms of props.
And surely, in America, a Christian film for Christians could have
Yeah.
raised a lot more money than this.
Yeah, this is what I was saying as well. Like that Cessna was probably a God-fearing Christian's crop duster or something. He worked on that film.
Yeah, he got arrested for noncery and they donated his plane to the church. I used to fly it now to touch the chillins.
Also, you have to remember that everything that was probably in this film was
Chillins.
twice over tax deductible because it was A, a film, and B, was religious.
I like Alex's theory that it was a pedo plane that he donated back to the church so it could resume its purpose as carrying children to be abused.
That's how they fly them out to
Fair
that
enough.
to those Brazilian pedo priests that they hide up in the mountains.
The audio, the sound. What did you guys think of the fantastic soundtrack?
Just like to compliment Jack Lenz for his astounding soundtrack. No, it also I actually was amazed to learn there was a composer behind this. I assumed it was all free.
Was he a composer
free
or was
download
he
music.
a Googler?
It says he's a Canadian composer, but he has only done Christian TV programs before this. Though he is also credited for attributing additional music to The Passion of the Christ, my
He's
favorite
definitely
film.
just the only man who owns a synthesizer who works for the production company.
Not only did all of it sound like, as you say, it came from like public domain websites, but even the bit where Nicolas Cage crashed his plane into the other plane, there was some ill-fitting public access music on there, and then they just layered some like drum beat on top of it, and it made me think that a video, like another video, was accidentally playing in a different tab, because I was like, These are two
Yeah.
pieces of music on top of each other.
It wasn't blended
Yeah.
at all, it wasn't
Bit
layered
weird.
at all. It was. I did love the collection of characters at the back. You can tell that cast was that was sequel material, like because none of those guys did anything really. Like the Texan guy didn't really do anything. He had like
yeah,
that
they
one.
weren't like murderers or rapists or anything like that, as far as we know. They're just a guy that likes aliens.
A
And
businessman who neglected his daughter a little.
I want to know what crime the Alzheimer's riddled old lady committed.
oh yeah,
Ruben had a pretty good
you
theory.
don't even want to know what I said. We'd be immediately cancelled.
Well, to throw Ruben under the bus, as is now a
No.
tradition, Ruben said that she wished that she'd repented for that Bukkake film she'd starred in 20 years ago,
Oh,
and also
no.
the one she'd starred in before she got on the plane.
Is that why she's dizzy? She's cum drunk.
Completely
She's all
gone.
full of spunk. And it's coming up her brain works.
Should I go on the spump from Boy in His Dog?
It had a really TV movie quality, and I really enjoyed when she had to clear that bit of road. How fucking full that building site was of absolute junk. There was like road barriers every half a foot.
Yeah.
There was like bulldozers just left lying across it. A tanker full of petrol just parked at the end. It was great.
Do you not
She
feel
just
that
ran
she
it
also
all.
cleared like way less than half a mile of stuff?
Yeah. It would
That's because
take
she's using an
for
American
hours
truck.
to do that.
She just rammed it all with her good old American truck. She had loads of stunt stuff to do. She was really busy, that lady.
She even rode on a motorbike.
Yeah, just randomly. And also, here's the thing, right? So there's the motorbike, yeah? She picks up the motorbike, she rides it off. The motorcyclist's clothes are in a nice neat little pile next to it. If he was riding it, or she, when she got raptured, the clothes just be scattered down the road.
Yeah, indeed. That's
the
what I
bike
was
would be
thinking. Was
fucked,
that
wouldn't
she,
it, as well?
it was really a
like a
problem deferred.
It was like a Deliveroo driver just like getting the next stop and then whoop, up they go.
Maybe he just happened to be about to turn his bike on, like he sat on the bike and was about to turn the ignition, and then rapture o'clock.
Because to be honest, the actual rapture bit isn't that prevalent and isn't that interesting. It's just basically when we need an event to cause vague apocalypse and societal breakdown. Okay, that will do. And also we need a reason for a plane to be in peril.
At the point at which, the people who believe in this kind of rapture say that some of the people will be raptured as well, loads of nutty shit happens on Earth that they clearly couldn't afford. But some of it's not that hard, right? So, like, one of them is that the sun turns black and then the moon turns into, like, blood and all the stars fall to Earth. But what we saw in the movie was just people's clothes get left behind and then nothing.
People's
they-
clothes get what?
People's clothes get left behind and then
Left
nothing.
behind. Whoa!
But
To wrap up, what was your favourite scene about Left Behind, and would you recommend it, Josh?
My favourite scene was literally just when she was awkwardly hugging her little brother and then suddenly she was only hugging the clothes, because I thought that was going
Me
to be
too.
like... That was going to be the movie stepping up and getting crazier and crazier, but unfortunately it only wound down from there, so wouldn't recommend. There was no Nicolas Cage freak out. Absolutely criminal.
No one's face was taken off.
Ruben, what was your favourite moment?
My favourite scene was also the hugging of the child and then him going. "Poof." I thought that was very amusing. But yeah, it was a shit film. What about you, Aaron? What was your favourite scene?
My favourite scene was right at the end when she'd executed her master plan to save her prospective boyfriend and father by clearing the runway, and then she's running across it and a big explosion occurs behind her with like a tower igniting or something for no discernible reason.
oh, it's
Sick.
like a fuel tank that the plane clipped as it came down.
Ah, there you go. I fucking loved it though. It was so gaudy and it was a terrible explosion.
Alec, what about you? What was your favourite scene?
I like the bit where the wing goes on fire and Nicolas Cage is getting irritated with having to explain everything. And so damn it, done it again. Keeps going like, oh, do we have enough fuel to get to New York? He's like, it depends if the leak's here. And he jabs the side of a cup, or here, and jabs the bottom, and then just throws the cup away. He's like, fuck, he's like, leave me alone. I'm flying an exploding
I'm flying a
plane.
plane
I'm
here."
busy. I don't know who the key grip is for this film.
Oh shit, we didn't look.
shit.
So
Oh,
I
yeah, he
can't
was the key
dedicate
grip.
it to the key
Fuck.
grip.
I can honestly say I've paid my bit to watch this film as we watched it on Netflix.
Like we pay for every film.
Yeah, of course. Like I pay for every film legitimately with my human money.
Michael Fiducia. This is dedicated to Michael Fiducia. the
Rest
grip.
in peace.
That's
Michael
interesting
Fiducia.
because I've got the key. I got the key grip here as
Oh,
Ross something.
Ross Jones. Oh, there he is.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Guys, I have some conflicting information here. It says that the key grip is the Lord your God, because he has the keys to paradise and hell.
I'm sure.
God, can you pull
gripping
focus
you
on
on
this?
your way
I'm
up
doing
to
it.
heaven.
He's gonna have
Leave
a fucking
me
key grip
alone.
on my dick soon.
I'm in the union.
Whoa!
1v1 me God.
I don't have experiences with anamorphic lenses.
When's
that-
my lunch break?
I would use that as a sign of his like lack of omnipotence. That would be my like lever into destroying God's confidence.
Am I in the Union?
You are the Union.
We've worked too many hours already.
There's like,
Ross Jones was the key grip for Bad Boys 2, baby.
wow. Look,
Bad God, bad God. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when he raptures you?
Shit just got biblical.
Oh god.
for more
Donate to our
God-related material.
Patreon and to the other one where you get people money when they've got AIDS and things.
Yeah,
Treatment.
wash your
Go
hands
fund
and
me.
wash your souls.
GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Scrub your souls, you filthy animals.
We're looking for roughly as much money as Captain Tom Moore made.
Remember to clap for us at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays.
We're the goddamn heroes.
We've been checked for traps. We'll try harder
We've
next
been
time.
disappointed.